I'm currently in Whiterun, the first major city that you run into in Skyrim. But would you believe me if I told you that its architecture is so bad that it would make an architect sick? Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into Skyrim's architecture to see, does it make any sense?
Before we go to Whiterun though, I want to stop through Riverwood. What's one of the main things you see right before you walk in? That's right, the wall. The surrounding wall of Riverwood just ends. This isn't just a waste of materials. It makes no sense as a true defensive fortification.
But why does the wall not continue? If you had an army that wanted to attack here, say Ulfric was upset and wanted to just storm this place, he'd probably walk up here and be like, oh no, big wall. And then if he really wanted to, he could just go over here, see that the wall ends, and then walk in this knee-high water, and then end up on this side and then walk into the village to Breezehome.
It has major gaps in it, it has low heights at some points, and the wood structures are vulnerable. The attackers could just walk up these right now. If the Stormcloaks ever wanted to invade Riverwood, they could so easily do it. These few Whiterun guards that we send here aren't going to do anything. Architecturally, it is better interpreted as a practical multi-use village boundary. The stone walls deter casual threats, like wildlife or petty thieves, while the big covered walkways are just shelter for the guards. This serves mostly as a territorial marker and a sheltered path than a legitimate military defense, which normally I'd be like, okay, that's fine, whatever. But we do have this huge civil war going on with Riverwood being a pretty decent target, so it would be nice if they could invest some of the wood that they're using at this sawmill to try and fortify it more. Was that a good segue? Because now we're talking about the sawmill. First off, I think you know what I'm going to say, because it's the easiest thing to point out. Get this wood out of the water. I went into it to check if there's any steel beams that it's on top of, any stone. No, it's just wood straight into water. This is not going to be good for longevity, and it's going to start collapsing at some point. The wood supports running into the water will quickly decay at the water line. That's a critical zone where the wood is exposed to both water and oxygen. It's the ideal environment for fungi to rot it out. A real-world scenario that would be a lot better for this would be having the wooden posts raised off the ground and rested on stone footings or a foundation, like I said. But where it's at right now, it's just gonna decay super fast. Now I want to look at this ramp that they use for the sawmill. If you look at it, it looks pretty decent, right? But then you notice there's no nails. And yes, guys, I realized that back in the day, they could use like pegs and everything, but it just is not as practical, especially when you point out things like this. You can't tell me this isn't a nail. Why would they just have one nail and not have any more? Oh, it's to save resources. Well, then don't you think they would go like nails in other places and not just one? I don't understand the logic behind that. These logs are likely secured using superior traditional joinery and wooden pegs. This ensures that the ramps can withstand the weight of someone dragging up wood. It was likely that the nail was used at a time where like maybe there was a chip in the wood or it started coming up and they needed a way to hold it down quickly, so they just used nails then. But I don't know why you wouldn't use nails all throughout. I understand it's to make the building cost a little bit cheaper, but this is not the place to cheap out. Riverwood thrives on its wood economy. That's what makes them the most money, so why would you cheap out on something like that when it's the most important thing for you? I don't know if this is an aesthetic choice, but they're using whole logs that don't seem very well maintained or manicured. Can't think of the word. I'll put it on screen. If you have the capability to use better wood, why not? It's your whole thing. Unless you just like selling it and you don't want to use it on your own homes.
I will admit though, this is a pretty good place to chop some wood. I mean, look at this view. It's a nice view of the river.
But now that I'm done complaining about Riverwood, let's go to Whiterun. On the outskirts of Whiterun, there's a few houses, like this one. Nothing too bad standing out here, except the broken floorboards right above me. So they're walking to bed, their foot gets stuck in the hole, fall down, and they fall through the floor, and then boom, he's dead. I only did this as an example. That seems pretty bad. I don't have much more to say about that, but...
Then if you walk over towards Whiterun with me, you'll see... I'll handle you later.
This roof right outside Whiterun is pretty decent. It's fine and it's smart for the locations. Skyrim's really cold and thatch would be a good insulator. Sorry, I can't think. But the thing is, there's a lot of inconsistencies on how it's laid, showing a lack in craftsmanship. If you're gonna have a lack in craftsmanship anywhere, it should not be the roof. That's really important to help insulate the building. But that's not even the worst thing on the outskirts of Whiterun. If you look at this beautiful, amazing, well-made, just kidding, this entrance is awful. The entrance is pretty much impossible. It would need a lintel or some sort of archway to help support it. There would not be enough compressive force and the entrance would simply just collapse. This gateway's design prioritizes a dramatic, ancient, and simple aesthetic that really just doesn't work in real life. It uses the post and lintel style often associated with primitive megaliths, choosing this over structural longevity. Unless the lintel is secretly a reinforced steel or magically enhanced block of material, which I doubt. Skyrim's magic abilities isn't as good as Oblivion. It is a failure of civil engineering and would not stand for a long time in a real-world scenario. In short, replacing the lintel with a masonry arch would transform this gate from a major structural weakness into a durable, strong, and reliable entry point for all people that live there. Now, if we make our way into the gate, you'll notice something kind of strange. We have Breezehome, which, I mean, it's so nice. They let us buy a home. They don't give it to us for free, even though we saved their town from a dragon. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not mad about it. You are. If you come here, you'll see this place sucks. First of all, we're where the peasants would live. We're by the way entrance. This isn't normal. We should be living somewhere with the higher life, you know? Maybe we'll go to the Cloud District. I don't know. First off, I want to talk about the placement of this open fire. It's nice. Big kitchen for Skyrim, but this is a huge fire hazard.
You're the one that lives in Breezehome, right? Fine.
Why are you
place.
in my house?
Almost
So, big issue here. Fire. Go up. That's fine, right? No. This is way too close to this wood. The heat's gonna rise, and it's not far enough away. You can see the embers. This is gonna get lit on fire. This is gonna get too hot because they're too close all together. This is gonna heat up over time, and then this is gonna also catch on fire. And then that's not even the worst of it. Follow me up here. If we stand over here, let's open this door. That fire is going straight to where we sleep. You can see it through the wall. Through the floor.
It's an almost guaranteed recipe for a house fire, and it lacks ventilation. That makes it a serious health risk and would dramatically reduce the lifespan of inhabitants. Also known as me, the Dragonborn. You need me around. Then we get to the thing that's probably the worst about Whiterun, the walls surrounding it. These would be awful for an invasion. You're lucky you had me at the fight for Whiterun, or else you guys would have been taken over so easily. The wall functions purely as a visual and psychological barrier. It hides the Jarl's district. It forces people to use single and easily blocking choke points, which are these stairs and gates on both sides. It does not provide any active military defense capabilities, suggesting that it relies on just the outer walls. The architectural symbolism for it makes sense. It divides the city into sections. The wall acts like an active barrier for Skyrim. The main section is markets and poorer homes, and then the second one is the richer class, and then eventually where the Jarl lives, Dragon's Reach. But that's not really an excuse. It is. Who cares? It's a video game, but I'm here to yap about this. It's what people watch me for. It would be nice to see like it based off of old architecture in medieval time, where there's walkways or towers that the guards can be posted up at. Like this little ledge right here, a guard's gonna have to start hopping to see over it unless they're super tall, like me. Like I'm 6'7". I'm sorry, I know I talked about Whiterun for a long time, but now we're gonna go to Solitude. We're gonna be revisiting the Blue Palace because this is something I wanted to talk about in the last video I made. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
So I was investigating in a totally non-creepy way. No, hey. But then I realized these windows are completely fake.
So, if you see, there's a window right here, but if you look inside, there's no window. What? Okay, that's really weird, but let's see. We're inside now, and it's like, oh, we have a double window. I didn't notice that outside. Let me go back outside and check. Oh, that's because it doesn't exist. How did you make it worse than the first one? The only real-world explanation for this would be a thick wall cavity. It could be that the space between the exterior window, which is this one, and the interior window, which is this one, is simply an extremely deep and wide wall cavity. The single window is an opening to the outer wall, and once you enter the very thick castle walls, the space widens into an inner bay. This is where the two windows are placed on the thinner inner wall. But, you know, that's probably wrong, and it's probably just the usual Bethesda mistake. So this makes no sense. This one's really bad. This is just like a error on their part when designing the game. Who cares though? These windows look really pretty, so that's cool. I wish there were more of them. Guys, I promise I'm not going to stay in Solitude too long. I know I did last time, so we're just going to head over to Falkreath real quick. So, Falkreath, it's a pretty humble, big town, you know? They got big walls like Riverwood, but as you can see, they're doing it a lot better. You see these nice wooden posts with spikes on them? They have to be best around. Oh my gosh, what is that over there? Why do you have this beautiful wood wall that you made and this beautiful entrance, but then you just have an opening over here? I don't care that this lady says they're having a hard time because of the war. That doesn't change my mind.
Try not to judge Falkreath too harshly, visitor. The war has been hard on us.
Okay, so that might explain all the points I just made, but I'm still gonna make them anyways.
The wall has a cutout that's even worse than Riverwood. Where the wall is doesn't even make sense. Someone could easily see this wall and think, okay, let me just go on top of this little hill thing, and then let me just climb down and then crawl into town. It's not stopping anyone.
This place is amazing. They have these huge walls and I'm fully protected. Or so you thought. hurt.
To make this truly useful, you would need another wall up there to block off chance for potential attackers to try to climb in. Things like this are probably intentionally placed by the game developer. You know, to make it feel less like a level and more like a lived-in, rundown city. It wants to give that vibe of the frontier town nestled in the middle of the woods, and it does a good job with it, I'll admit, so there's nothing really bad on it in that part. The little holes in the wall are probably made for player freedom, because you're probably not going to want to go through the entrance every time. I get it, I don't either. You'll want to go around this or take every shortcut possible, like me flying. Look, Mom, made it to the cloud. Falkreath is meant to be more rustic and bleak, so while it's kind of a bad design, it can still work fine, if that makes sense at all. Again, sorry lady that you're going through this wartime, but hey, I don't care. I'm just the architecture guy. I get paid to be here. Before I head out of Falkreath, I need you to, like, I don't know, like and subscribe and comment if you have something nice to say. Don't comment something mean about windmills, though. I'm sorry. It was a joke. I know they're not a giant fan. But for those who I really offended, did you check my community post? Look, I'm reading a book about buildings. I'm making it up to you. As we're heading out of Falkreath, we're gonna make our way to Markarth. When we first walk in, we're gonna see, oh my god, what's going on?
Oh, can't be good. This isn't any of my business. I'm just here to investigate the architect.
Careful with that.
Oh, I think you dropped this. Some kind of note. Looks important.
Meet me at the Shrine of Talos. Dude, I don't know what you're gonna try to do with me when I go over there. I'm not playing any hanky-panky. I'm on the job.
I hope she's okay, but I have buildings to look at. The inn inside of Markarth is actually extremely well made. It utilizes archways and compressive force. It's an incredibly defensive location. It's built right into a mountain's rock. It uses massive ancient Dwemer masonry that thrives under the immense compression of the earth. However, for human comfortability, it's not great. Look at this bed. It's literally just a stone with like a cloth on it. The subterranean setting results in perpetually dark, damp, and musty environment due to the severe lack of light. Ventilation is actually pretty decent if you look over here. I mean, it gets the fire out of there, which is important, but you're still gonna smell pretty bad probably. You're gonna get all gross. Y'all ever gone in a cave before? You're not in there to smell good. Come out of the inn with me. We're gonna go look at this bridge in Markarth.
Come on. Come on, man. You're being stubborn. Bye-bye. There we go. He's gone forever.
This bridge is designed pretty poorly. Even if you guys hate me, you can understand where I'm coming from. Look at these railings. This bridge is structurally unsafe and a significant safety hazard.
Oh! Oh! No, I'm not gonna jump.
The handrails are poorly secured to the edge of the vertical post. This connection is highly vulnerable to shear stress or torsion, meaning a slight lean could cause the rail to fall and splinter. And again, with the wood post right into the water, Skyrim, come on! The wood will suffer from rapid decay due to rot at the waterline, blah blah blah, I already talked about it. This could lead the bridge to eventually collapsing or being completely washed away due to any currents or strong ice. Maybe I'm not looking into it correctly, but it definitely looks like from the outside that it's a temporary, non-permanent solution, so hopefully these guys are replacing it soon. But it also looks like they're doing a whole lot of nothing, so we'll see. But like I've said before, guys, you're not in Skyrim to analyze its architecture, unless you're me and you have thousands of hours in it and you have nothing better to do. You're not here to analyze the architecture, you're here to play the story. You're here to see the silly characters. You're here for the sweet rolls, the arrows to the knee. You're not here to judge. You're here to live. And that's what makes Skyrim truly beautiful. It's like life. It doesn't have to be perfect in every way. It just has to be itself.
So before I go, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment something below, something you want to see, something that you wish I put into this video, and check me out on Instagram. I'm going to start posting on there a lot. I'm going to post behind the scenes stuff. So with that all being said, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.